Welcome to this new episode of Global Entrepreneur. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to write a business plan for your startup. I'm not a business plan expert per se, but I had to write a business plan for FlykeART, and we actually used this business plan for one of the top business competitions in the United States. And this competition was canceled due to coronavirus, but we still placed among the top 10 selected teams out of hundreds of startups who competed, and the judges gave us really good feedback on our business plan overall. I just want to say that it was the Baylor New Ventures competition and their mentors and their guidelines that prepared us to be able to write such a good plan. And the objective of today is to show you how what this competition is all about, and how you can use these guidelines to also apply to this competition. I think this is limited only to U.S. startups. I am not entirely sure, and if you want to check out the requirements, you can just go to the official guidebook. So as you can see here, we have the competition website. So Baylor New Venture Competition. As you can see, there's up to $250,000 in cash prizes, and there's also other resources. Here you can see the 2020 competition finalists. So we were among the finalists here. FlykeART representing Purdue University. Big shout out to Sulis. I know the founder of Sulis. I have a video on my channel where I talk with her. She's Sarah Pomerantz. She's really cool, and you can check out their startup. It's they're doing very cool stuff. I don't really know the other startups, but yeah. So as you can see, we placed among the top 10 teams, and then the competition was canceled. Here you have the top 50 startups too. So yeah, there's tons of startups that competed, and here's all the partners. So you can check out the guidebook later. Essentially, what was required for this competition was to submit a business plan, right? What we did was we looked at their guidebook, and we referenced the way that they wanted for us to write this business plan. So here we have the executive summary, and here's the business plan, right? So there were certain requirements. They wanted to have the title and cover page, a table of contents, an executive summary, the business mission and vision, a thorough business description, a market analysis, and then description of products and services, as well as the whole team management, as well as a go-to market, sales and marketing strategy, financial statements of a 5-year projected income statement. This was really hard to think about, considering that when you're just a startup in the idea stage, projecting 5 years forward is not something easy to do. And then some appendices where additional information can be included, and here's the judging criteria. So we follow the exact same format that the competition judges wanted. This is a large handbook specifying all of the details behind what you would have to submit. And let's just jump right into it. So here's the cover page, right, or the title page. So we had the logo, and then we here had like a picture formatted with passengers looking at their screens, and then our slogan, which was revolutionizing the air travel experience. So we said business plan, Baylor New Ventures competition, idea stage track, right, and the date. Okay, give me a second. So here we have the table of contents. So as you can see, this is the so we have a clear executive summary, business vision and mission, the company description with some bullet points, the customer pain points, the competitive advantages, strategic partnerships, a thorough market analysis with market growth, market size, and the competitive landscape. Then we had a product description where we talked about our hardware, our operations and the equipment costs, the material costs, the pricing, and a software overview. We also have the organization and management, marketing and sales, where we talked about our brief marketing strategy and sales strategy. I just realized that there was a typo there, so be careful with typos. You don't want to have typos. And then, the financials, such as, the funding required and the 5-year projections. And also in the appendix, we had some additional information that we thought would make our entire business plan a lot more coherent and attractive for investors. So, as we go down here, you can see I'm going to walk through the entire business plan. So this is going to be a relatively long video. If you guys want, you can just watch some parts of it. I would suggest, you guys watch the entire thing because it will give you sort of a better understanding on how to write a business plan. This is important because, when you're talking to investors, and I should have mentioned this earlier, so what's the importance behind the business plan, right? When you're talking to investors, you want to go and hand in this document where you basically just summarize your entire startup landscape, right? Or sort of what your product is about, what your startup is about, who your customers are, who your competitors are, your financial statements. So you have everything you need to convince an investor to basically invest in your company. And as you're going to see, this is something that's widely used in business. But you don't really need to go to business school to be able to write a business plan. We had no idea how to write one, and I think we came up with something solid. Obviously there's some things we could still refine, but I just wanted to mention that, by reading materials and content online, you can really learn how to do one of these business plans. And then there's also other great tools out there that I'm going to show you later that will help you in writing a business plan as well, where you basically just need to copy paste some text and it will spit out a formatted business plan for you. So this is really, really helpful, and hopefully it will save you a lot of time later in the future as you're writing your business plan. So let me get started. First of all, as you can see, obviously, the cover page and the table of contents are both very attractive when it comes to design, right? We have the company website here, and everything follows, this nice font, and everything is just very consistent, as you're going to see later in color, and we have our little logo there. So, we actually worked with a graphic designer to help us format in the way we wanted to. You don't really need that. You can also use other templates that are available out there, but I would highly suggest you use this, right? So we have, first of all, the executive summary. This is the most important part of your entire document, I would say, because it's basically like a snapshot of your company in one page, right? And here's where you're going to attract the attention of the investors so that later on they're going to want to read every single section in more detail. So here you have to put in the most relevant information in 1 or 2 sentences, and just make this page be very attractive for someone interested in what your product and your business are about, right? So first of all, here we have FlykeART. It's a smart airplane galley card that connects to the cabin via Wi-Fi, allowing airlines to reduce fuel costs while enhancing their travel experience. So that was just a product, right? Now, what we included here right at the beginning, we just wanted to make sure that the judges at this competition wouldn't be confused by what our plan was. So we said, please note that this business plan is intended for a company competing in idea stage. This is a 12-month business plan with a 5-year financial forecast estimation, right? So this means, that this is kind of like a plan that we created for 12 months ahead with 5 years of financial forecast estimation. We're just not saying these are real numbers. We're saying it's just a forecast, right? So this kind of like puts the investors or the judges in the frame of, okay, this is just a company in the idea stage, and they're very young. And so let's look at what their idea is, right? So here we have the background. So airline galley carts have not been significantly improved since 1955. These trolleys are built from heavy materials such as aluminum and plastics, causing aircraft to burn far more fuel than necessary. Due to their outdated design, these carts are noisy, bulky, rusty, unsafe during turbulence, and most importantly, do not incorporate any technologies that enable airlines to offer a better catering experience. So that gives a little background, and then we have the problem solved. So we said a single long-haul airline can spend up to $620 million a year in fuel costs due to galley carts overweight. So we're framing the problem in terms of money. That's also a good idea to use quantitative numbers, and now we're giving like brief numbers. So here we're showing what the product is in detail. So we said FlykeART is a smart airplane galley cart that connects to the cabin via Wi-Fi. It is built out of carbon fiber composites, being 5 times lighter, safer, and more ergonomic than conventional food carts. Our product also has an interactive touchscreen that enables flight attendants to process meal orders that passengers select with their electronic devices. This allows airlines to reduce fuel costs while improving the air travel experience. Looking at the market overview, we said that for a single long-haul airline operating about 2,000 long-haul flights per day, such as American, Delta, or United, the reduction in fuel costs could go as far as $620 million a year. So then, by purchasing our carts, all airlines combined could save up to $15 billion in fuel and reduce 15.9 million metric tons of CO2 emissions annually. So again, just giving market numbers here. So here's our business model. We said our source of revenue will be selling carbon fiber carts to long-haul airlines. So just one thesis statement, very simple. By switching to our carts, every airline can save an average of $800 per flight. We have validated our numbers with the operations and catering senior managers from United. So we know that we would save the airline about $453 million annually. And we said here, United operates about 1,600 daily long-haul flights. If you just multiply the daily flights per year times 800 per flight, you will get this number. And then here we said, so far, United Airlines has agreed to consider buying our carts for $5,000 per unit. Although this price seems reasonably high, our carts will deliver 10 times the value for the amount in fuel savings, or a total of $51,000 in savings per cart over a 10-year product lifetime. Considering material and labor costs, we estimate the final unit cost per cart to be about $1,500. Thus, we could potentially make $30 million in annual profits per airline, because we stated that United purchases about 9,000 carts every year. So we said that after we penetrate the market and we have steady growth, we plan on incorporating software to completely replace the existing catering system on board. So, a solid, strong business model with numbers on everything. So very quantitative. I think that was pretty good. Here we said customers or prospective customers. We said after interviews with 30 plus airlines, including Delta, United, American, and Southwest, we identified that our initial customers are the operations and catering senior managers at United Airlines. And at that time, that was the case. Just know the format here. We have page numbers. Everything looks very consistent when it comes to color, format, and design. Okay, so then we said here, we recently presented our business plan to them, so the managers at United, and they showed a high interest in our product. We're currently negotiating the terms of a $50,000 contract with United to run a 6-month pilot program and build a prototype. Even though United is our intended initial customer, we plan on approaching other airlines to mitigate customer acquisition risk. Our go-to-market strategy was going to be that we would get one airline at a time, and our next step would be to sign the prototyping contract with United. We said that one of the advantages was that we are 2 hours away from United's headquarters, and we have established a close relationship with the managers who purchase galley equipment. After that, we want to get a letter of intent and seek $150,000 in funding for manufacturing and testing, and then once we validate that our carts can be built according to our customer specifications while obtaining FAA approval, we will be ready to start selling our carts. So simple strategy: get a prototype, get funding, get the certifications, and then start scaling up. Progress to date, we said so far we won $50,000 in equity-free cash prizes and benefits to fund our prototype at several business model competitions. By creating a simple geometry with flat carbon fiber panels, we have proven that we can build a cart that is 5 times lighter, weighing only 13 pounds. Our product is patent pending. So, great, very short description, good progress, again, quantitative numbers. Here we included the profits for 1 year. So again, this was a 12-month business plan. So we said 2021 forecast since product launch, and we said that we would launch January 2021. And then, this would be the profits all the way. And then in 12 months, we would make about $1,500,000 in 12 months. So our competition, we said our main competitor is Safran, the biggest supplier of airplane carts in the world. Safran is developing a lighter cart called Hybrid. However, our carts have unique carbon fiber components such as brakes, handles, and door mechanisms that enhance durability, improve functionality, and further reduce weight. Our cart components are novel and hard to replicate, and we have already filed a provisional patent to enforce our competitive advantages. Here we just mentioned the team briefly, so the 3 founders, sort of what we do, our majors, etc. And we mentioned the capital needed, so $60,000 for a final prototype and $150,000 for manufacturing and testing. Team contact information, the link to our demo. This is kind of important because you can just click on it and it will take you to our video. And then here are some confidentiality notes, right? Okay, so that should give you guys a snapshot of what we did, right? And I think hopefully that will be helpful to you. So if you feel like that, you can stop the video here and just take your time to read over the document. That's basically the executive summary. It's a 2-page executive summary, and it's very well crafted in my opinion. And it just gives the overall idea, right? So now what I'm going to show is a little bit repetitive right here. So I'm just going to briefly go through every single section. So here we have business vision and mission. So achieving sustainable, efficient, and data-driven air travel. Our mission is allowing airlines to reduce fuel costs while improving flight experience. That's not very strong, like this 2 vision and mission like lines, but I think they're just decent enough. Here we have company description. So in short, here we talk about our product and what it does. Here we show pictures of the product right at the first page, and here we talk about our the problems that what problem it solves, right? So we said after interviews with several airlines, we talked to flight attendants and catering managers. We talked to catering managers who have been flight attendants for more than 10 years, and they understand how big of a problem the carts are. Even though our customers recently spent $1 million in galley equipment, they still express severe pain points. And here we mention 3 pain points, right? So first, the weight, the durability, and the shipping. So you can, these are the 3 problems. I'm going to read everyone. I'm not going to read each one, but just if you guys want to take a look into the summary, I'm going to paste a link to it on YouTube. I'm going to try to upload it to Google Drive so you guys have access to it and you can just use the file for your reference. Here we have the competitive advantages. So basically 3, we said intellectual property, manufacturability, and customer proximity. Again, we have a patent. Basically, we're good at manufacturing carbon fiber and we're close to our customers. That's what we wanted to encapsulate. Okay, so then here we have strategic partnerships, sort of the innovation centers, the universities, and the people we had been working with, so mentors and etc. So they're all listed there. Here we have a market analysis. So we talked about the market growth with numbers, right? So it's a market that grows like a 3.5% annually. So, and it doubles every 10 years, or that's kind of like the math behind it. So huge market that's growing very fast, compounded. And then here we have the sources. So we included the sources. That's very important too. You want to make sure you have credible figures and numbers. And then here we have the market size. So total market size, addressable market, and then the one airline we would sell to. Here we have the competitive landscape. I think this was one of the strongest points we had. Very clear description of who our competitors are. So here, we included 3 companies, which are Safran. So we gave a very kind of like short but thorough description at the same time of the customer. And we included their demo. Here we included another customer called Gate Group and their demo, and then Nordwin. There was no demo there, but it was good enough because the 2 most important ones we included their website, so that if investors are interested in knowing more, they're just going to go here on YouTube and see what those companies are doing. And the important thing here is that this just looks very credible. It looks like I think it looks like we had done our research really well, right? Because we're like clearly showing who the competition is and not skipping any details, just putting in everything. Just putting everything in there. Okay, so then product description. I'm not gonna get into the details here, because I'm gonna talk a lot more about the product in a later video that I'm gonna do about the patent that we got. But basically, again, we talk about how light the card is, how we designed every single component, and we talk about the manufacturing operations and equipment. So how long it takes to make one of these cards, how much does it cost, what machines will we have to buy, and how much would the card cost per card overall. And then what are the advantages of carbon fiber and all the manufacturing methods that we had, right? Then we also had the material costs and who our providers would be. So just giving an idea that we had also done our research when it comes to how much every component actually costs. Then we talk about pricing and our pricing strategy. This is very important. Like, how much are you going to charge for your product? We basically took the something that we learned at Y Combinator startup school, that you should charge roughly, so kind of like a rule of thumb. So your product should be priced so that it delivers 10 times the value for the price. That's what we took into account. So we used that simple rule, and then here we explain how we're going to use that rule, and then why we feel like that's a good strategy, right? So we said that premium pricing is effective because we have early market introduction, uniqueness in functionality and design, strong barriers to entry, no substitute in the market, and then customer acquisition costs are high. So it's important to price a product high at the beginning, and then sort of as your costs go down, and your sort of so as your marginal cost goes down and your marginal revenue goes up, then you can just make profit that way. So you're gonna lower costs later on. But yeah, I mean, this is once you achieve economies of scale, basically your cost is gonna go down per unit, and that's just gonna keep on making this more and more attractive. Here we also talked briefly about the software overview, but we said, we didn't want to get into too much detail. We just wanted to give kind of like a first impression of what the software did after we, sell our product and we grow. And then we said, please refer to Appendix C for more information. So we just put that in the appendix. We talked about the essentials here. So we talked about our team, not going to get into too much detail. This was one of our weakest sections, marketing and sales, because we're engineers, so we know nothing about marketing or sales. We briefly explained what we had been doing for marketing. It worked using LinkedIn and YouTube. And then sales strategy, we said LinkedIn and email, because that's how we got in close contact with our customers. So you can, I think this could have been an entire page or 2 pages. Obviously, it depends on your startup, right? Again, we're engineers. We know about technology. We didn't really know too much about marketing and sales. We said in order to reinforce this later, we're just going to hire people to do this for us, but it's not our strong suit, right? So we will need money for that later. Okay, then here we just said sort of like the funding we were looking for at that time at the competition. We included a 5-year projection, as you see here, right? Sales, costs, and profits after tax. So we were thinking about reaching, let me read this closely, so $2 million in profits by by December 2025. This is achieving sort of like 4 million in sales. I think this was like decent enough. Again, calculating this numbers when you have never done this before is hard. I think there were some very small details that the judges didn't like how much we were going to spend on marketing and sales. But some judges really liked our numbers. They said that our numbers were fine. So here we have sort of the 2021, 2022, all the way till 2025, the profit forecast for those years. And then here we said, please refer to Appendix A for detailed financial calculations. We said that this is just a budget estimate and should not be considered as a real financial forecast. All right, so I'm not going to go through this, but basically this is where we show how much money we could save every airline per year. And then here we talked about sort of like the logic behind our calculations and our numbers. So a very strong slide as well. So now this is the appendix. So this is kind of like the end of the business plan, right? So now we're jumping into the appendix. So Appendix A, it's only financial calculations. So here we have an entire chart. The format doesn't look great, and that's because the file was too large for submission, so we had to like lower the picture quality, but it's still readable if you like zoom in, right? You can still read it. It's not great, but whatever. So here we have the budget for all those years, as you can see, broken down by sales, sort of materials and labors, as well as expenses, payroll, sales, utility, insurance, rent, internet, lawyers, and then profits before and after taxes. And here's like per month and then every 12 months, right? The logic behind this, so the way I was the one in charge of doing this calculation. So the logic was, we're going to start January 2021 and get United as a customer, for example, and then we're going to start by selling 50 units per month at $5,000, and we're going to make $250,000 per month, right? And that's broken down. So net profit's going to be very low, but then as we ramp up production, so we're going to ramp it up by 5 every month, and then by the end, this is going to grow a little bit more. So by 10 units, then profits are going to get larger, and costs are also going to get cheaper proportionally because now we're achieving more economies of scale. So we kind of follow that same logic, right, where we like ramped up production little by little every single month so that we would get more capacity. It would stagnate at some points. Like here we have everything stagnated at 460 and then 480. That's sort of when you reach that peak where now investing into expanding costs a lot more proportionally, and then you can like plateau your production, and then you have to spend again. There's some principles I got from my economics major, so this was just kind of like common sense and intuition, and kind of like fidgeting around with the numbers. But to be honest, like this is not entirely realistic. Obviously, like I had never seen a statement or done this before in my life. I'm guessing that the more you do this, the better you get. Here we have the estimate of the materials cost. So, again, this kind of like adds credibility to the whole budget since we're referencing where those numbers come from. So here we say, okay, we're going to need, like wheels, some carbon fiber panels, some frames, some brakes, etc. So this is the total cost, right? Here we have the payroll cost for the initial people, and then we kind of like took that, so we just said, please note payroll increments of 5x, 10x, 12x, 18x is assumed for years 2022 until 2025 respectively, referencing 2021 as base year, right? So we just said, we're just going to like times 5 the second year and then times 10 based on the first year, on the second year, third year, and so we're going to do that, and that's where the numbers come from. Appendix B, this is our, let's go back to it. Appendix B, Proc demo. So here's the link to our demo, and then we put some pictures. So the front view, the brakes, right? The most important things: enhanced cabin vision mode, concept full body view. So kind of like just giving like nice pictures and just showing visuals as the appendix. I thought it was going to be important. And then finally, Appendix C was the FlykeART. So this is our software application in flight, or for in-flight catering that we were developing. And then here we talk about it more. We talk about like inventory tracking and how we can increase onboard sales with some numbers. And this is just to kind of like have an open-ended ending where we mentioned that software could be something great to incorporate to this smart galley cart. So first we're going to sell the carts, and then we're going to incorporate the software, and this is what we're thinking about. So you're just projecting that after you build your base product, then you're going to sort of, once you monopolize the market, then you're going to expand and diversify into other things such as the software and just find other revenue streams as well. So kind of like an open-ended question or message there at the end. So that was our whole business plan. I hope you guys liked it. Now, before I finish this video, I want to show you something really useful. So by participating at the Baylor New Ventures competition, after we passed to the finals, so we were among the top 10, the competition gave us free access to something called LivePlan, right? So LivePlan is this kind of like software that you can buy, or this like website or program that lets you basically just paste your, like you can either create a business pitch or a plan or a forecast or benchmarks or a schedule and a dashboard to track your metrics. So it's a very comprehensive like business tool that you can use, and it's really great. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it actually is. So it's so simple to use, right? So basically, this is not completely full, but I just want to show you the basics, right? So first, what we did was we created the pitch, so logo, and then here it talks about the opportunity, the problem solving, the solution, the funding needed, financial projections, the milestones, and the team, and then you have, and you can kind of like use that as your pitch. It's not as good as a slide deck that you can do on your own or PowerPoint, so I wouldn't recommend this tool too much. But the business plan, specifically the forecast, is amazing. Let me show you this. So business plan, very basic, right? Problem, solution, market, competition, all of that you're going to have to put in there. But the forecast, this is so good, right? Basically, this is just in this program, you have like different, so you have financial tables, profit and loss, balance sheet, and cash flow, right? Now, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to show this product or how it works. I'm not being sponsored by them or anything. I just want to say that this is a great product. So since I don't know if I'm actually allowed to show everything in detail, I'm just going to show you briefly how this works. So you have revenue, costs, payroll or personnel, expenses, assets, taxes, dividends, cash flow assumptions. So you can have kind of like a variable thing where you can adjust the days and when you're going to pay. So very comprehensive finances behind it. And then kind of like the financing, like how much, if you're going to have a line of credit or an investment or a loan, and the interest, it calculates everything for you. So it's like an all-in-one Excel calculator made into graphics, put into a business plan. And basically after you put in every single thing, right? So like, let's see here. So we have kind of like personnel, right? So we have personal expenses, the head count, right? Calculate salary, revenue per employer, net profit per employee. Everything is just so detailed. It's so good. After you have all of this, right, you have your forecast, you can just download and print, right? So it says download and print forecast. So check this out. So you just go download PDF. It's downloading, and you say open PDF. And now here we have it, FlykeART 2021 to 2023 forecast. And here's all the figures you're going to need, right? All of the graphics and all of the tables. And this is kind of like a brief printout of the whole thing. Now, if you go to plan and you just go and print your business plan, which you can have as a PDF or as a Word doc, and this is just the most basic version that the platform offers, right? We got free access, which is awesome. I'm definitely going to use this tool later for other companies if I really need to write a business plan. But here, I don't really like the format of the business plan. Again, this is the plain, there's other really good templates that you have to pay for. But I just wanted to show you. So overall, the business plan is not that attractive, but just look at this. So check this out, the statement. It literally looks like a balance sheet from from a company, right? From like a very professional, like professionally done balance sheet. So here's everything: cash flow, net cash flow. You don't have to calculate anything. Check out the appendix. It's so amazing. Look at this. Kind of like the budget I had per month and annually, like it's all there. So I absolutely recommend using this tool if you don't want to go through the pain of having to do everything by hand like I did. So I had to like go into Excel, just calculate everything. This is just such a quick way, and the good thing is like it can like walks you through the steps for you to create those financials. So I highly recommend that. I'm gonna paste the link to the LivePlan website, as well as a downloadable version of our business plan so that you guys have it for your reference if you want to check it out or read it later in detail if you're interested. And obviously, if you have questions, please let me know and I'll answer those questions regarding the business plan. And if you could like this video and comment your thoughts, that would also be great. I highly encourage you to comment whether you have already written a business plan or not, so that I can check in the comments which ones of you have not written a business plan yet, and so I can maybe help you out with anything you need later. So that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see if I can talk about the patent in my next episode. So again, if you have questions, let me know. If not, I'll see you guys later. Bye.